शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Ashtavakra is advising Janaka to practice the laya. Laya means withdrawing the mind from all that is anatma, focusing it on the Atma Swarupa, so that the mind can get absorbed in the Atma Swarupa, taking the form in conformity with Atma Swarupa. By becoming the mind, becoming Atmakara, Brahmakara, so can get absorbed in the Atma Swarupa, wherein no cognition of anything that is in the Vishwa which is superimposed on Atma is there. Means no cognition of all that is adhyasta on Atma. Only the cognition of Atma and Atma alone is there. So this is advising in terms of 4 stanzas. Let us see the 4th stanza. Samadukha sukha purna asha nairashyo samaha samajivita mrityu sannevameva layam vraja. Purnaha, add tvam ataha eva to be added. Purnaha, then add tvam ataha eva. Sama dukkha sukhaha, add san. Asha nairashyayoho samaha, add san and tatha. Samajivita mrityuhu san. Evam eva layam vraja. In this manner, make your mind get absorbed in the Atma Swarupa. How? Eliminate all the sources of the agitation, the vikshepa in the mind. That is like this. You being, why? Because you are Purnaha. Purnaha means Atmananda Purnaha. You are full and complete, all-pervasive, the Paramananda Swarupa, wherein nothing else is there to limit you. You and you alone, the Chinmatra Swarupa, Paramananda Swarupa, Atma is there. So Purnaha Tvam, you are Purna, Ataha eva. For that very reason, so be like this, being like this. How? Sama dukkha sukhaha san. So long as the prarabdha vashad body is there, sukha dukkhas are bound to come. And sukha dukkhas in normal course, what they do? They create the agitation in the mind, vikshepa in the mind, because of our reaction to sukha dukkha. If joy comes, we get elated. If sorrows come, we get dejected. So these vikaras should not be there. You have to check these vikaras. So therefore, sama dukkha sukha san means when daivavashat udbhutayoho sukha dukkhayoho. In the sukha and dukkha, how they have come? Daivavashat. Daivavashat udbhuta. Born on account of prarabdha. In the sukha and dukkha, born on account of prarabdha, you have to be what? Samaha. Samaha is nirvikaraha. Without any vikara, totally perturbed in sukha and dukkha which arrive at you on account of prarabdha. Not only that, asha nairashyayoho samaha san. Being sama, nirvikara, unperturbed in asha and nairashya. So in asha nairashyayoho, asha, hopes, expectations, nairashya, despair, despondency. Of course, nairashya word meaning was also was seen as moksha in the chapter 3, stanza 12. So here, even in moksha, that moksha, of course, moksha cannot be taken to be sama nirvikara, so there is no vikara at all in moksha. So here we can take nairashya as despair, in both hopes and despair. So samaha san, being nirvikara, being unperturbed, otherwise hopes and despair certainly perturb the person. Samaha san, tataha, not tataha, tatha, so also, tatha, so also, samajivita mrutyuhu san. So being sama, nirvikara, in both jivite mrutyaucha samaha. The sama, nirvikara, both in jivita, in life, and mrutyu, death. Whether you are continuing to live or dying, in both the mind is nirvikara, sama, without any reaction, unperturbed, undisturbed, samaha san, evameva layam braja. In this manner means withdrawing yourself from entire Vishwa and its features. So what you do is take to Brahma Drishti Rupam Layam Braja. Take to the vision that yourself is Atma, itself is Brahma. So Laya here in the sense of Brahma Drishti Rupam Laya. So the absorption of the mind in the Brahma Drishti, Atma Drishti, that you, Atma and Atma alone is there. So in this manner, make the mind get absorbed in the Atma Swarupa, that is what Laya. So withdrawing it from all that is Anatma. In short, what is recommended is take to Nididhyasana until the Atma Sakshatkara takes place, the mind gets totally absorbed in Atma Swarupa. Janaka replies in the next 2 stanzas. To understand properly the reply given by Janaka, an elaborate introduction is necessary. In chapter 5, Ashtavakra, to test the Shishya thoroughly, advises or exhorts Janaka in 4 verses to get the mind absorbed in Atma Swarupa by taking to the practice of Laya, that is Nididhyasana. The Shishya Janaka, at the backdrop of his Atmanubhava, wherein the Advaya Swarupa Purna, limitless Atma, was directly cognized in terms of Sakshatkara, and at the backdrop of this Sakshatkara, Janaka finds that the practice of laya of something means making something get absorbed in Atma Swarupa. Either the laya of that is of something to get absorbed in the Atma Swarupa, or acquiring something, what is called as upadana, acquiring something, or abandoning something, what is called as hana. These things are not possible because only Atma and Atma alone is there. The reason is in Advaya, non-dual Purna, limitless Atma, wherein Anubhava Swarupa Atma and Atma alone is there, there is nothing else other than Atma, including the mind, which are certainly made use of till now to gain the knowledge. Actually, the Guru wants to assess the level of steadfastness of disciples' Atmanubhava, that is Atma Jnana. The Guru's advice to take to laya in chapter 5 at its face value is an instruction to practice Nididhyasana to get the mind absorbed in Atma Swarupa. This is done by withdrawing the mind from all that is anatma and focusing the attention on Atma, free from all that is adhyastha, that is superimposed on Atma. This is as per the sadhana advised by the Upanishads like Brihadaranyaka, wherein it is advised Atma va are drashtavyaha shrotavyaha mantavyaha nididhyasitavyaha. That means Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana have to be taken to by a sadhana chatushta sampanna adhikari mumukshu, and this pursuit has to culminate in Atma Darshana, because Atma va are drashtavyaha, that Atma Darshana must be there. So this pursuit has to culminate in Atma Darshana, also named as Sakshatkara, Atma Sakshatkara, in which the direct experience of Advaya Swarupa, Anubhava Swarupa, Chinmatra Swarupa, Atma, free from all that is adhyastha, including the pramata and the mind, is accomplished. The role of Nididhyasana as a means, as an upaya to Atma Sakshatkara, Atmanubhava, is before gaining the Atmanubhava, also called Atma Darshana. Nididhyasana necessarily takes for granted the hitherto presence of Anatma, including the mind, which has to be made to get absorbed in Atma. But in the fructification or the result of Nididhyasana, namely Atmanubhava or called Atma Sakshatkara, all that is there is only Purna Atma, the limitless Atma and Atma alone. There is no longer Anatma, no Ivishwa, no mind, no Pramata, even no attempts of Nididhyasana. All these fall in the category of Anatma only. Here, the Guru has asked the disciple, Janaka, to take to Laya practice, that is, Nididhyasana, to get the mind absorbed in Atma after the Shishya has vividly described his Atmanubhava, revealing he is nothing but Chinmatra Swarupa. Actually, the Shishya has crossed the stage of Nididhyasana as a means or upaya, or the Shishya has grown out of the necessity of Nididhyasana. Yet, the Guru is trying to revert the Shishya to Nididhyasana, wherein Anatma is to be taken for granted, whereas the vision of Shishya is that there is nothing other than Atma. In such a context, the advice in chapter 5 by Guru to take to Laya is unwarranted, like asking a professor who is a doctorate in mathematics to practice additions and subtractions or multiplications and divisions. Or it is like asking to carry the boat on the head even after crossing the river. The person who has already climbed the mountain does not consider the earlier steps as the goal. In Atmanubhava, Atma Sakshatkara, the entire Jagat, Vishwa, is Badhita. That is, Jagat is known or refuted as truly not there in Kalatraya, in 3 periods of time. So even if on account of Prarabdha, it appears as though the Jagat is there, the mind is there, it is only Badhita Anuvritya, it is only an appearance on account of the Prarabdha, but its reality is already negated and it is no longer real. It is not possible for a mumukshu to directly cognize the Advaya Purna Sarvavyapi Atma, totally free from the entire Adhyastha Jagat, all of a sudden in one stroke. That is why the Shastra in the beginning makes the divisions like Atma and Anatma, or Aham and Idam, or Prakriti and Purusha, or Kshetra and Kshetrajna, even though in reality there is nothing other than Atma. When a sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari takes to Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana by making use of the realm of Adhyastha Anatma until his mind gets absorbed in Advaya Atma Swarupa at will, which is called Sakshatkara or Jnananishta or Brahmavagatihi, etc., wherein the hitherto Anatma, or what is called as Idam or Kshetra or Prakriti, gets terminated or gets extinct. This can be verified from the last stanza, that is 34 of chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says there, Kshetra kshetrajnayorevam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye viduryanti te param. Evam. Evam means in the manner that was told in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna had described that earlier in this manner. Those, those, viduhu, those who know. What they know? Antaram, the distinction between what? Kshetra kshetrajnayohu, the distinction between kshetra and kshetrajna. So it applies to Prakriti, Purusha, Aham, Idam, like that. Atma, Anatma, because they being synonyms. Distinction between kshetra and kshetrajna. How does he know the distinction? Jnana chakshusha, by the chakshu of jnana. So the jnana chakshu. Here jnana is the jnana, knowledge, born in accordance with the Shastracharya Upadesha, which gives the Anubhava of Atma, called in Bhashya as Atma Pratyayikam. Atma Pratyayikam. Atma Pratyayikam means that which gives the Anubhava of Atma, and that jnana itself is considered as Chakshu. Not only this, the Antara, distinction between Kshetra and Kshetrajna, but also Cha, and also Bhuta Prakriti Moksham. This phrase is very important, relevant to our context. Bhuta Prakriti Moksham. Here Moksham is Mokshanam, means Nasha Abhavagamanam. Bhashya describes it as Abhavagamanam, means Nasha, destruction. Of what? Say Bhuta Prakriti. What is this Bhuta Prakriti? Bhutanam Prakriti, Bhuta Prakriti. Bhuta here stands for Karya Rupa Jagat. Prakriti means the Karana, the cause of this Karya Rupa or manifest Jagat. Namely, what is that Bhuta Prakriti? The cause of manifest Jagat. Namely, it is Avidya Lakshana Avyaktakhya Tasyaha Bhuta Prakritehe Mokshanam Abhava Gamanam. Avidya Lakshana Avyaktakhya, Bhashyakara explains it. It is called Avyakta, characterized by Avidya, means Maya. Here Avidya Lakshana Avyakta means Maya. Maya, that is what Bhuta Prakriti. Tasyaha, of that Maya, Bhuta Prakritehe, of that Bhuta Prakriti, of that Maya, Mokshanam, Abhavagamanam, Nasha, destruction. So, those who know this distinction between Kshetra and Kshetrajna, and finally, of that Kshetra along with its cause, Kshetra, the manifest Jagat, along with its cause, Maya, its destruction, what remains now? Only Kshetrajna, the Atma, and Atma remains the hitherto supposed Kshetra, along with its cause, Avyakta Prakriti, is no longer there. They, such persons. So they, yanti means gain. What do they gain? So param. What is that param? Paramartha Tattvam Brahma. They gain Brahma, which is the Paramartha Tattva Param. Means they do not get subject to rebirth. Thus, though the pursuit began with the distinction of Kshetra and Kshetrajna Atma, in the Atma Sakshatkara, that is the Jnana, in the Atma Sakshatkara, that is the Jnana, in the Jnana, the phrase Bhuta Prakriti Moksha finally points out the Nasha, the extinction, the Abhavagamana of Bhuta Prakriti, which is Avyakta or of Maya, with its Karya, Vishwa, all together, called as Anatma. Means pursuit started with division of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. By proper pursuit, the mind, the individual has discovered the Atma Sarupa in its reality, has got Atma Sakshatkara. In that, what happens? That Kshetra with its cause Bhuta Prakriti gets extinct, along with all the effect of the Bhuta Prakriti, the Maya, that is Karya Rupa, Vishwa, so called Anatma. So what remains in terms of Jnana is only what is called as Kshetrajna or Purusha, or what is Atma. This is Atma Jnana as proved in Vedanta. This is Atma Jnana as proved in Vedanta, and it cannot be otherwise. Till this Atma Jnana is gained, the Abhyasa or repetition of means upayas like Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana as the need be have to continue or has to continue. The Abhyasa, repetition, has to continue of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana as the need be. The question now is, what is the criterion to determine that the upaya, the sadhanas, the means like Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana are no longer required? Bhashyakara Adi Shankaracharya in his Sutra Bhashya of Brahma Sutra, means in the Bhashya of Brahma Sutra, Brahma Sutras, namely the first and the second sutras in the 4th chapter, first pada. In that bhashya, Shankaracharya answers these questions. First, let us see what the sutras are to know the context. The sutras are, first is Avrittihi Asakrit Upadesha. The meaning is the repetition of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana is necessary. Why? Since the Upanishads instruct repeatedly. If the question is, how do you say so? The second sutra is Lingacha. The meaning is, and this is so on account of the evidence in the Upanishads. on account of the evidence in the Upanishads. While commenting on the second sutra, that is Lingacha, Adi Shankaracharya draws a clear distinction between a person who needs the repetition of Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana as one's need, and the one who does not need the repetition of Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. Bhashyakara also defines in that context what the Atmanubhava is. Let us see the relevant portion from this Bhashya. Bhavet avrutyanarthakyam tam prati yaha tattvamasi iti sakrit uktam eva brahmatmanam anubhavitum shaknuyat. The meaning is repetition of Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana becomes redundant for the person who can experience Atma as Brahma on being taught once that you are that Brahma Tattvamasi. Only one teaching can trigger this person off to the experience of Atma Swarupa. The one who cannot get this experience, for him he says, yastu na shaknoti tam prati upayujyate eva avrittihi. But for the one who cannot experience so repetition of Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasana is indispensable. So in this context, he defines what is Atmanubhava. Sarva dukkha vinirmuktaika chaitanyatmakaha aham iti eshaha Atmanubhavaha. The meaning is, I am the non-dual Chaitanya, free from all sorrows, is the Atmanubhava, experience of Atma. So for such a person, there is nothing else to be done like practice of who can command such Atmanubhava. Repetition of the means is not necessary, is made clear. Nacha evam atmanam anubhavataha kinchit anyat krityam avashishyate. For the person who experiences Atma, thus there is no other thing like Nididhyasana, etc. to be practiced left over. Whereas for other person, it is necessary or accepted. Yasya tu na eshaha anubhavaha dragiva jayate tam prati anubhavarthaha eva avrityabhyupagamaha. The repetition of Nididhyasana, etc. is accepted only for gaining such an experience in the case of the person for whom this experience of Atma is not born quite instantly. Instantly, that is drak iva. This bhashya makes it very clear that the repetition of practice, or that is abhyasa of Nididhyasana, is not necessary for the one who is able to command Atmanubhava instantly at will. Janaka had attained such a state of gaining Atmanubhava instantly. In light of such Atmanubhava or Atmajnana gained by him, Janaka replies in chapter 6 that in Atma the Laya etc. are not possible, and his reply in chapter 7 makes it clear that Janaka has grown out of the necessity of such upayas like Nididhyasana, and so he does not need them. Now let us take chapter 6, which gives the reply of Janaka. Akashavadanantoham ghatavat prakritam jagat iti jnanam tathaitasya natyago nagraho layah. Aham akashavat anantaha. Aham akashavat anantaha. Prakritam jagat ghatavat. Prakritam jagat ghatavat. Iti jnanam. Iti jnanam. Tatha, add sati, etasya tyagaha na add sambhavati. Tyagaha na add sambhavati. Grahaha na add sambhavati. Layaha add na sambhavati. Aham, who is this aham? Atma, what is my swarupa? I am like this. Akashavat anantaha, I am limitless like space. I am limitless like space. Then the question comes, if you are limitless like space, how do you abide, or how do you abide in the body, or how the body is your abode? That question comes, for which he gives the answer, Prakritam jagat ghatavat. Entire jagat, which includes the body, which you are telling that I am abiding in it. So the Prakritam means Prakriti Karyam, that which is the product of Prakriti, and Prakriti Maya being false, the Prakrita, the Prakriti Karya, effect of Prakriti, Jagat also is what? False. So this Jagat, which includes the body made up of Prakriti, is like Ghatavat, like the pot, in the sense, see, Akasha is all pervasive, but it appears as though the space abides in, the pot limits the space. Not only that, as though the space abides in pot. Likewise, I am limitless, and yet like this pot in the space, it appears as though this body of mine is limiting the Sarvavyapi Atma, but truly not so as in the case of pot. Though pot appears to limit the space, pot can never limit the space. Similarly, as though it appears that me reside in the Deha, really I am free from it. In fact, the body abides in me. So that being the case, Ghatavat. So that being the case, what is me? Akashavat anantaha, limitless. So me and me alone is there. Iti jnanam. He says, who told you all these things? This is the jnana. This jnana means this is Vedanta Siddham Jnanam. This is proved, this is knowledge as per Vedanta, proved on the basis of Anubhava in accordance with Shastracharyopadesha. So this is the Jnanam. So that being the case, so when this is the knowledge, Tatha Sati, means when Atma Swarupa, me, is Ananta, limitless in nature, is there, so therefore, tathasati, there, because me is limitless in nature, there being nothing else to limit this Ananta Swarupa Atma, because Atma and Atma alone being there, he says, tasya, tasya means of that Atma, tasya Atmanaha tyagaha na, tyaga means hana, giving up. How can we give up which is all pervasive, which is not limited by anything? See, something which is parichinna, like ghata, etc., something which is limited in nature can be given up or acquired, or you can dissolve it. For example, take the pot. Pot can be given. You had a pot, you gave it up. Or you didn't have a pot, you got one pot. Or you had the pot and you destroyed and pulverized into mud. So therefore what has happened? The pot has got merged, the layer of merged in mud, the layer of pot has taken place in mud. But here, me and me alone, the Ananta Atma is there. So of that Atma, tyagaha na sambhavati, you can't gain the Atma. Grahaha na sambhavati, graha means upadana. See, acquiring something is not possible because already there. Layaha na sambhavati, the laya, absorption, making it get absorbed in something else also is not there. Nor even mind getting absorbed is not there, because what is there is only Atma and Atma alone. So laya or means if limited something is there, laya also is possible. Here only Atma is there. Laya, that is absorption of something, here namely the mind, distinct from Atma. Distinct from Atma, see, if that is to be accomplished, there must be something different from Atma to make it get absorbed in the mind. For example, there is something called mind different from Atma. You can make the mind absorbed in Atma. This was possible earlier at the stage of Nididhyasana, because at that time the concept was the mind is there distinct from Atma and it is to be made to get absorbed in Atma. Now in the Atmanubhava, what I discover is Atma and Atma alone is there, even the mind is not there. So that being the case, how come any absorption laya is possible? So as per the Atmanubhava, there is nothing other than Atma, not even the mind present in reality, though it may appear to be there by Badhita Anuvritti. So that being the case, even laya is not possible. Laya also is not possible. Layaha na sambhavati. Now in the subsequent 3 stanzas of this chapter, the second line is one and the same. The same second line continues. Means this is the Atma-jnana, in light of which either tyaga, giving up of something, graha, acquiring something, or laya of something in something else is not possible, because Atma is Ananta. That Ananta, limitlessness itself means there is nothing other than Atma. Now here, Janaka gave the example of the Ghatavat. So Ghata, example, illustration of Ghata and Akasha. But he feels the example may not be totally appropriate, because pot is one thing and Akasha is another thing. So therefore there is a bheda, division between pot and the space. Like that, one may mistake that there is a bheda between Deha and Atma. So, not being happy with the illustration, he gives another illustration. Mahodadhirivaham sa prapancho vichi sannibhaha iti jnanam tathaitasya nagraho na natyago nagraho layaha aham mahodadhihi iva saha prapanchaha vichi sannibhaha saha prapanchaha vichi sannibhaha. First line as already seen. It is already seen now. So therefore take this. Aham mahodadhihi. Me, with this me, Atma, is iva, like Mahaudhadihi, like a great ocean. Whereas Saha Prapanchaha, that Prapancha is of what type? Vichi Sannibhaha. It is like the Vichi. Vichi is the Taranga, the waves. This is to remove the defect of Atma and Deha being separate. Just as wave is not distinct or different from the ocean, so also this falsely superimposed Adhyastha Deha is not. Adhyastha Deha means Deha stands for entire Vishwa, is not separate from the Ananta Swarupa Atma, though it appears as though separate, like waves appear as though separate from ocean. Vichi Sannibhaha. Sannibhaha means Tulyaha. So, Tulya. So this is what Vedanta Jnana. So that being the case, Atma cannot be given up, nor Atma can be acquired, nor any laya is possible in the context of Atma. Here again, Janaka finds a flaw in the illustration, because no illustration can ever be proper. So we have to take one or two aspects of illustration only. So therefore here, the Samudra, ocean and the Taranga, this illustration was given. But there is Vikara, ocean undergoing the modification, change, Vikara to become the Taranga. Like that one may think, oh, Atma has undergone a Vikara to become the Deha. No, such a thing is not there. So therefore another example is given. Aham sa shukti sankasho rupyavad vishva kalpana iti jnanam tathaitasya natyago nagraho layaha. Saha aham, that me. What does that mean? Advaya purnaha anantaha. So that me is what? Shukti shanka sankashaha. So I am Shukti tulyaha. Shukti here is that seashell, or what is called as mother of pearl, which is mistaken as silver. So I am aham Shukti sankashaha. So me is like the shell, whereas Vishwakalpana Rupyavat, the Kalpana, the false projection of Vishwa, is like the Rupya, like the silver seen in the shell. When somebody mistakes the silver in the shell doesn't undergo any Vikara. So like that, even if due to ignorance the Vishwa Kalpana, the false projection of Vishwa is made on me, the Atma Sarupa, Ananta Sarupa, Advaya Sarupa Atma, no Vikara is ever possible in me, the Advaya Atma. So Vishwa Kalpana. This is what the Jnana as proved by Vedanta. Therefore Atma cannot be given up, nor can be acquired, nor laya, any such the absorption is possible. So at what level? At the Atma Anubhava level, at the level of direct cognition of Atma Swarupa, wherein Atma and Atma alone is there. Even with this Shukti example, Janaka is not happy because there is also defect of Shukti, a shell being limited in nature. A shell is a small piece, something which is limited in time, space and Vastu. Desha Parichinata, Kala Parichinata, Vastu Parichinata are there. Likewise, Atma may have these Parichinatas, one may doubt. To remove that doubt, further he tells, Aham va sarva bhuteshu sarva bhutanyatho mai iti jnanam tathaitasya natyago nagraho dayaha. Aham va here is vai. Sarva bhuteshu add asmi. Sarva bhuteshu asmi. Atho sarva bhutani mai add vartanti. Second line already seen. Aham vai, me the Atma indeed. Where am I? Sarva bhuteshu asmi. I am there in and through all the creation, objects and beings. How? Satta spurti pradanena. By imparting the existence and the knowledge aspect, I abide in and through the entire creation, sarva bhuteshu. Not only that, and because I abide in the entire creation by lending the existence and knowledge, so atho, ataha, atho means therefore, ataha, or so also you can take atho, sarva bhutani mai vartante. All the bhutani, all the beings, the entire jagat, entire creation, or that means everything, all these, mai vartante, they abide in me. How? As the very adhisthana of them. So, as adhisthana of all the everything, so all the beings are where? In me. This is what the jnana as proved by Vedanta. And that being the case, so the tyaga, giving up of Atma, or acquiring of Atma, or laya of Atma, or laya of something in Atma is not possible. Here, one question may come. If it is not possible for you to get absorbed in the Atma Swarupa, means if laya is not possible, like the mind getting absorbed in Atma Swarupa is not possible, is it not that the samsara vikshepa, the sorrow, the turmoil on account of samsara will ramify without any restraint, and will you not get persecuted by that? You say, see, the absorption is not possible, you are telling. Will you not? He says, no. Because such a anishtha, that means something undesirable in terms of me getting subjected to samsara vikshepa, the sorrows and the turmoil of samsara is not possible. So that is now explained, that is replied in the next chapter. Here again a word of caution. Janaka from the standpoint of his Atmanubhava and Nishtha in Atmanubhava. What we see as Sthitaprajnatva in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, from the standpoint of the Nishtha in Atmanubhava, says, I don't need the practice of Nididhyasana etc. to take to Laya. This should not be misunderstood that we also don't need the Nididhyasana, because unless one reaches the state as that of Janaka, where the Atmajnana Nishtha is there, one can't say Nididhyasana is not required. Until the Deha Tadatmya continues, until one is not able to make the mind abide in Atma Sarupa Drakiva instantly at will, Nididhyasana is required. So Janaka's case is different. So by misunderstanding that, one can't give up the Nididhyasana until such a state of command over Atmanubhava at will instantly is possible. Subsequent chapters we'll see in the next camp. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Kshobarahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhayah Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.